Okay, are we almost done with our surveys? Everybody say yes! Okay! Minute to finish. Who needs another minute? Okay, good. I got you.
2 minutes wants Reese's peanut butter.
Look at all the peanut butter chocolate
I
things out
start
here.
with one to make sure I have enough, and then we'll go further. Get ready for this. Done. So you got the Reese's. You got some coming.
Send it away?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good question.
Everybody done? All right, guys, start back out.
Oh, thanks.
See that some of you guys are finished, and looks like I've got leftover chocolate. So now I get to throw. Here it is. The low ceiling, the sidearm. Oh, and got it. Little breaking ball. Oh yeah. Oh, you know how much I love this guy. You can send the kid to hero school, but you can't get him to catch chocolate. Yeah. Not even try it yet. All right, who else? More chocolate. Okay, Duncan. Duncan, look at you. Oh, just make sure your wrappers and your trash, try to clean the room when you leave today, just so that we don't lose a hand. Hey. Yep. You just done a good boy. Good. Great. All right. I'm sorry, did I hit you in the hand? When they approve it, you get your reference in there. Bring more chocolate pot. That's just a bad toss. He's just lucky. Oh, interception. That was the ball. Like your father before you. Hidden dragon.
Okay. Is there another, you ready? Use this one.
Oh, it's just like a sweet gallery. It's all the water.
Don't need it.
You know?
Yeah, he comes back and now I see why Tiger does these things.
So, you learned something from this one. All right. Let's see, keep your hands up real quick. Back up. Let's go. I'm going to take. Who would like to share? That's a very important share. No hands were
See,
shared?
look at that. All right, here's an opportunity. Here's an opportunity for somebody to get outside their box right now. Go ahead, let her share. What did you learn today so far?
I learned that, oh, believe me, my voice carries. I am
Put it on speaker, please, so people can hear you.
I learned, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Same time. I learned to stop blaming others and to look at myself, and I'm the only reason that I stop myself, and allowing others to stop me too, but not to look. Well, okay, every point finger. When you point a finger at somebody, you got 3 pointing back at them. So you better not look at that person, you better look at yourself. And then one pointing up to God, you go, we have to answer to. Do you love what you love? That's what I'm showing you too.
Good job, right. Go ahead. Go ahead, give your name if you like, so everybody knows. Your name is Jacoby, by the way. Good job. Give them a round of applause.
These places that own their own business has to take a call for every mistake.
Somebody else. There's opportunity right now. Opportunity is taken by this gentleman here. Yeah, give him a round of applause. It's on.
Jesse, people blame other people. This is why this happened to me. It's her fault. This is his fault. It's their fault. It continues to happen over and over and over again. It might be time for you to think about be with you. Yeah. And so if more than one person saying that it's not them, it's you, that proof you're probably telling the truth.
Okay, good job.
I learned that if you always did what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And change. You need to change. And nobody guaranteed that it would be comfortable. They didn't say that it could be fun. That's all I have.
Hi, I'm Otis. And I learned from the first time that change is possible. It's possible for anybody to do it.
Anybody else? Going? There you go.
Just that 100% of the people homeless, I'd like to see the statistics for this country of people homeless. We're not from Las Vegas, a lot not from Las Vegas. And that if you are talking to people that are homeless, you're not going to get any advice on things that help us. The expert listen and be willing to learn.
Good job. Give a round of applause. Give an opportunity here. I would say opportunities are never missed. They just get passed on to somebody else.
I understand that. We can pick up what we learned, and rather than to go to the movie, why don't we flip the script and write our own movie?
That's right.
Anybody else? Going? Anybody else? We got another hand up? You ready to go? Where? Right here. Ladies first. Ladies first. There you go. I like that, gentlemen. Go ahead and hold it up. Hold it up so everybody can hear you. There you go. Thank you. Good time.
My name is Erica, and I learned that you want to be like released or something. That's the truth. Take that to each other.
It's true. Yeah. Wasn't that a movie? Anybody else? Right here.
Yes, my name is Edward, and I really believe and had that in me awakened today about that we're starring in our own movie, and it's time for us, instead of us going to beat the drum and having someone else to write the script, it's time for us to write ours.
There you go. One more. Come on, going. Going. Come on, there we go. Oh, you did already. I thought we appreciate that. Gone. Okay. I got that.
Give a hand to this young man. You guys had lunch, right? Good. Was it good?
Yeah.
Great. Everybody get excited. Yeah! Yeah! There you go. Golly, I'm just like, hey, all right, blame. You only become a failure when you blame who? Others. Others. Don't blame yourself. That's practice. You are practicing to get better. Trust me, I know. I took the broker's exam 5 times to become a real estate broker. Did I fail? No, because I didn't blame anybody. I didn't blame myself. I just needed to practice more. See, I wasn't dumb. I wasn't stupid. I wasn't retarded. See, my story goes on a little bit more because I lost my wife to suicide 6 years ago. Yes, that's okay. But I can tell that to people because it can change lives. I don't hurt it for my life, but I can change others by telling the story. Yep, and then 18 days later, I had a stroke. Died a minute 53 seconds. Yes, I'm still here. Thank God. I know I'm not noisy, loud, crazy. That's right. But I'm here. I used to talk like this. My whole right side of my face was all messed up. I know what this young man's going through. Everything's possible if you believe, if you learn how to learn from others. This is why you're here today. Because what happens is, what we're going to go over real quick is, what are the things that we do to not become what we want? First one, everybody. All together. Go ahead again. Yep. Next one. Yeah. Say it again. Yeah. What's this one? Horizontal. Does everybody see that? Horizontal. Learning. Horizontal. Guess where I'm at? I'm up here. You guys are learning from me, Tiger. Learn from somebody better. It's okay. Ego is a bad thing. Put the W before E and ego, and what do you get? We go. Wow. Ooh, who said that? Woo! He's on fire over here. Anyways, all right, so I got my places. Oh, that's 9 dots. By the way, get your papers out, pencil. Do this on your paper, real quick, and very silent. No side talking, please. No side talking. And I'll get back to that while you're hearing me talk, because I know you guys can do 2 things. Some of you can. That's okay. Who said that? Tiger. See, he admits it. I love that man. I love that man. So what happens, the other side of take blame is what? Take responsibility. That's the hardest word for somebody to learn. I'm responsible for who? Me. Good job, guys. That's who I'm. And then what happens is, instead of beg, you what? Add value. How does add value look to you? What would be add value? Anybody wants to share? Add value. What is it? Go ahead. There you go. See, he's been through hero school, hasn't he? Yeah. Now learning. Instead of learning horizontal, reason why it's red, it's bad. Blue means good. Vertical. Learn vertical. The last thing is what? Everybody say it together. Listen. Listening. And learn. Learn from those that are better than you. Not necessarily what you want to be an expert at. If you want to be a great motivational speaker, you have to learn from who? Oh, I was going to say Tiger Todd. Or me, Kevin Child. There you go. So anyways, which is a good thing. So you guys, does everybody have this on their piece of paper? Okay. So here's the deal. Listen, this is put your listening ears on. Listen, okay? What you need to do is you get only 4 moves. 4 moves. 4 moves. You cannot lift the pen off the paper. You have to connect all the dots in 4 moves without leaving the paper with straight lines. You cannot. Does anybody get that? Has anybody done this before? No. Wow. Yeah, well, here we go. We got 2 people. Because I'm going to have her come up here and show you that it could be done. Okay, so I'm going to give you 30 seconds to do this. Okay? I know some of you already started already. Cheaters. Cheater, pumpkin eaters. All right, anyways. So 30 seconds starting now. Go ahead. Go, 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 go. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Go, 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 go. This is what life sounds like, huh? Go, 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 go. Come on, 30 seconds. We got 10. All right. All right, go, 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 go. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go, 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 go. See, this is what life does to you. It's like, shut up, Kevin! Shut up! Go, come on. 4 moves. Has anybody done it yet? Raise your hand. We got with straight lines. Okay, good, good. Let me see. Let me see. Got 10 seconds. No, she hasn't done it yet. Come on over here. Let me see. Real quick. All right. Time is. Nope. All the dots got to be connected. Nope. Let me see. No, you're not done. Nope. 4 lines. Nope. You did 5. Wow. Let me see. Come up here. Oh, look at this. All right, so here's the. Oh, Would you like to do it out here, sir? What's your name? Sure, Mike. Mike, come up here and show everybody it can be done.
Oh,
And
that's cheating.
use the blue one.
Good. I did not.
And everybody count. Open this up for me if you want. Do it right here. I'll do it right here. All right, if you can't. Okay. Yeah, which one? That's 2, 3, 4. Give them a round of applause. Now pay attention here. This is very crucial. Most of you heard straight line, 4 moves. Straight line, 4 moves. 1, 2, 3, 4. Every dot is connected with a straight line. So what happens is we think in a box. We don't want to think outside the box. This is where your goals are. Here, look at this. Your goal is out here. Your goal is out here. Your book, your story, your success is outside the box. Most of us weren't taught that. It's amazing how we think that we just have this box mentality. So what happens is it actually can be done in 3. Did you know that? Watch this. 1, 2, 3. Those are straight lines. Well, almost. But they're straight lines. It can be done. You just have to think different. This is why you're here. Because your BS is not working. No, not your bullshit. It's your belief system. It's your belief system. It's not good, not bad, not right or wrong. This is why we have schools like this to make you think outside the box. There's something bigger, greater outside the box. And this is where Hero School comes to the rescue. Yep. Right? Wow.
Yes.
Do I got time for one more?
No.
Come on.
No, we'd love for you to do one more, but we don't have time for it.
Oh, what's this?
Just do it, right? Is that what you're saying?
Everybody reach as high as they can with their hands. As high as you can. Reach 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 as I can't. Just notice what you were thinking. I said reach as high as you can. It's amazing what our belief system is.
Kevin,
You're bigger, you're better, you're greater than that.
I'll just stand up.
Oh my gosh.
This was just funny to watch him stand up and raise your head. Yes. Some people have some advantages over us at reaching as high. We, the rest of us, just have to work hard.
By the way, vertical jump, are you going to do that?
40 inches while the table
40.
what's the landing? Well, because the table won't last.
Well, what else can we do? Oh, that's right, we practice something
Well, let's just destroy a table and learning modes. That's what we do.
Watch this. See? That's, and you show. Guess what?
No, I'm not going to risk it. What am I doing?
Down. He said down.
Remember?
Over 50, right? How many do you want to do?
Is this a contest?
3.
Come on, just do it. Just do it already. Just do it already. Give it up for Kevin Childs. Feedback. That's 2 dudes getting too close to each other this early in the day. All right, so now you know what that means. Really, God, I'm just loving this class at Hero School. Should I even throw socks or underwear? Do we need this stuff? So you've already showed you're thinking out of the box, so that means I can just empty my box. Right? Okay, great. Well, this should be fun to get started. We're going to talk about money here briefly. Gosh, tough room. All right, so I have the men's, ladies. Let's start here with ladies' socks. Who would love a lovely pair of ladies' socks in pink or blue? The dude in the back. Nice. Blue. Blue for for you. Ladies behind me. Anybody? That's right out of Shack, right? That's the bartender, right? With the. Shirley Pink. Anybody else? Well, I got them out. Anybody? Come in. Yes, right. Hands up. Okay, these are the soft ones. Now, for people who have hard feet, aka men, socks. Anybody fresh? If you want rather have colored versus, we're gonna do. Tell you what. Here, no. Okay. I'm gonna throw the whites, and then we'll go for the colors. Incoming. Ooh, ninja sock throwing. Who needs a hat from the Texas station? You want to use a hat being outside? Hat? Hat? You have a hat. Who doesn't have a hat needs a hat. We'll start there. And plus, we got money on it. And if you like money, you trust it to me. Because I fly like a bee. Okay. Here's the first one. In beautiful blue boxers. Yeah? We got smaller for you. Hold on. We need guys. Smaller. Okay. Who would be a medium-ish? Keep those hands up, Kevin. Would you reach? Who would be an extra large? I got the extra large. Yeah. You betcha. Extra large. I got one more extra large. Yeah. Too small. Okay. Great. Getting all my underwear wet. Large? Yeah, we got larges. Someone just in there. Large. This is too fun. Do we have those Hello Kitty underwear from? Okay, the last one, large. All right, Groovy, it's been fun for playing, but guess what? We got to finish school. We got to get money. We got to get jobs. But when we're done, we get to sign up for school if you want. Today, this morning, as you know, we're giving you a map and a new philosophy, a way to update whatever belief system might be slowing you down. Not the belief system, but maybe one of the 10 things you believe is based on you being 12 years old. This is now working at 35. Okay? So that's what we started general in the morning. Now we're going to move more towards specific. How do we apply it to the real world? So we're going to talk about cash and jobs. Monday at 11 o'clock, from 11 to 1, in the Larson Training Center, we do a Q&A. This is where we take the philosophy and the general and apply it specifically to your life and your questions and your needs. Okay? So Monday from 11 to 1 in the Larson the learning. Just be there maybe a little early, and take a seat. And then it's all the whole 2 hours is your questions and either our answers or obviously some people in here might have answers for you. But we're going to get very specific. Okay? And then by the time we're done with this weekend, you'll know exactly what to do, to be working on. And then more than that, we're going to give you a certificate if you complete all of these phases. Make it through today, make it through Monday. Man, it takes a lot to endure us. But you can deserve a certificate. You deserve it. But more than that, again, you know you're on the road and you're taking great big steps toward having something different next year than you had this year.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's just, phew. All right, good. All right, so when at the end of today, we're going to have sign-ups back there again for classes for the Q&A, so it was coming. Also, your forms are for clothes, but we have a ton of clothes that we hope fits you or something you need. We even have a couple tubs, I believe, of children's clothes. So if you have children or babies to put some clothes on, don't spend the money. We're going to teach you what to do with it now. So you don't have to buy those things now. You have to buy a new suit. We have that in the suit center. Let's target that to get the stuff done we need to get that job. But we're going to do the clothes, and so we'll have the socks there. We have some ladies' undergarments. I'm not going to pass those on. Anyway, so we'll have all that there. But right now, we've got to kind of transition now and get through to our money episode. It's going to be about 15 minutes of, well, then they're going to pass out your screenplay book. After our 15-minute talk here, we're going to now talk. We're going to have you write down things that you want in your new movie. And so we'll get that out of the way. There we go. All right, money. Money. Let's talk about money. Money. I got my mind. So money. Money. What is money? Well, who wants more money than you currently have? I do. Most people. I think you're talking, aren't you? So here's the thing. We tend to be limited in what we have based on how much we can believe for. Now, we want a lot of money, but we really don't believe we can have more than we have. This whole thing about the movies, it just struck me when I was watching these hero films, and I'm watching, Superman and Watchmen, and when I'm watching Captain America, and we hear the screenwriter has to write down the words, the character must change. The character must change. In order to win the war, defeat the villains, this little runt with the great heart has got to find a way to access power to become the right person to save the day. So the character must change. I'm not trying to change your parents or change anything else, but who you are interfacing with the world has to change in order to overcome it. That's all. So in the movies, we see it happen with Bruce Wayne changes into the Dark Knight or Batman, right? So see the character change, we get like a name change. We get Tony Stark changes into Iron Man, right? We get, even in A Knight's Tale, he talks about, a man can change his star. Doesn't matter where you came from, there's a way to change stars, and I'm just convinced that it's from changing the character we bring into our universe, into our world. So you can change stars if you're the Marine that becomes his avatar. Now, if you're the water boy, I don't know if you've seen the Adam Sandler film, but if you're a 31-year-old mama's boy living at home, the character must change. Shout out loud, the character must change. Okay? So the first 15 minutes of the film, right, they lay this out to get us, the audience, to evoke. You know the difference between an evoked, your authentic, like self? If we're laughing, I'm going to tell you all right now, laugh. Okay? That was like provoke. They're asking you to do it, and you did it kind of on purpose, but it wasn't real. Okay? Real laughter is when something funny happens, and then it just comes out of you, right? And this is the stuff we're going to be tapping today. In the movies, each of these characters was born with an essence, their true self, who they were called to be or meant to be on the planet. And usually, it's this journey of the character, even Tony Stark to become Iron Man. It's the journey of essence. He's built this identity, really as an arms seller, and playboy and philanthropist, genius. But now it's a return back to essence. Because he's kind of, if you will, lost himself or the calling for the sake of all the stuff the world demands of us. Now, I'll say it this way, in the real world, we know you have an essence. We know you also build an identity. Many people tattoo it on their bodies. Many people make you wear it. If you're going to be a realtor, you have to wear a certain color jacket, right? An identity in order to fit the world. We want you to get back in touch with the essence. But at Hero School, we want to remind you, you have to be both Bruce Wayne and Batman and know when to be which. So don't get rid of your identity. It'll get you places you can't get in your essence. In your essence, they might try to kill you. But you can go diffuse it by how you are playing this role at this time in order to allow your essence to come forward. In this case, his essence was quenched not by the outside world, but by his mother. And it was really because of his mother's fears over how she was treated. I think it was the Rochefoucauld who said, the man who rails against women is really railing against one woman only. I mean, think about this. If you see a guy at work, right, and he's just totally disrespectful to women, treats them as a substandard work associate, right, it's because of one way he was treated growing up. Could have been his mom, could have been somebody else, right? But you know what we do if we're not in our identity and not in our essence? We respond to their problem instead of respond to the core issue. Right? So someone starts to go at you, let's say they hate men, and they go at you like, blah, 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 you can just tell, right? You don't need to say, why you treat me like that? Just say, who hurt you? Who was this? Right? Right? Just get right to the point! Free them! Free them! Right? All right, so we're all on the same page, right? So remember, your character, be thinking about your essence versus your identity, and then versus the character you got to create to fit the movie and the world you're going to be in, right? So in this case, it was obviously the coach that helped him get there. It's the coach in every single film. There's one in every film. There's no change without it. It was the Scottish uncle that helped this orphan change. And oddly enough, like I mentioned, the 25 prime ministers of Europe, 15 in England alone who were orphans. This is a common story that the champions of our age, those people in the Encyclopedia Britannica or Wikipedia, or who have more than half a page, the vast majority were orphans. The people we're writing about, no family. They had to get either by damage or whatever. Well, we write the movie, they kill off the family to show you that, hey, it's up to you. Now, I don't want you to kill your families, okay? Some of you might be, no, but you see, the point is, right, the point is there's a time that we have to have the courage to leave who we were born to. That's why we send our kids off to college. They then go learn and be enlightened, and then it's returned as another type of character, right? The engineer, the architect, the marine biologist, and so on. Okay? So you might have to have the courage to not feel any calls from your mom for 6 months. So where you can learn from an expert, like from an Ed or Sherry at Larson, from whoever the next teacher is, and so that it can start to stick in your little quantum mechanical particles, start to arrange themselves in something that can do something about your family. But as you know, in this case, with the case with the water boy, for sure, he couldn't help his mom, couldn't change her situation in the situation he was in. All of his love and respect for mom, even had him arguing with his teachers when he was in college. Who remembers the scene about why alligators are so mean? Yeah, mom said alligators are so mean because they got all those teeth and no toothbrush. Okay, so that won't fly. So we don't want to talk back on the number habit 4. Okay, so the Zorro, look at another orphan who, again, he's repeating history not because he's doing anything wrong, but because he's still hanging out with his brother into his 30s, acting like exactly like they did when they were in junior high. Right? It's like Michael Vick emerges, becomes successful, and then goes back and hangs out with the kids and goes right back to dogfighting. Shouldn't he be elevating them into professional sports? They could be managers, they could be agents, right? But instead, you look what cultures do. They say, on your family, and that pressure almost keeps these heroes from becoming who they could be. Right? And so we know this is true. We got to start doing what we do.
He connected to 9 dots.
That's a compliment. All right, so another orphan, Harry Potter, right? Same kind of story, right? Yes, they said, yeah. Experts at Hogwarts, right? Dumbledore, right? You got to look for your McGonagalls. It could be a little fat goat guy like in Hercules, right? Now, this is an interesting poster. When Spider-Man 3 came out, it really gave us an idea on in the movies. Because remember we talked about 2 journeys. Not only are we 2 journeys, one of your wants and one of your needs. And Bruce Wayne and Batman. And in this case, it's the inner conflict that usually messes us up. It's the voices in our head. It's the things we can't reconcile in that void. So what do? Well, if we don't get busy dying, we end up just finding a sedative, right, to drown ourselves so we forget about what we can't figure out. Right? Nietzsche wrote about that in Superman. He said the man in an era of dissolution, remember he wrote this big Superman thing on the board. He said, here's the deal. The man in an era of dissolution, which mixes the races together, cultures, identities, let's say German dude hooks up with French woman, right? So late 1800s, Nietzsche, we have now transportation, trades are connecting countries and cultures. And so now we get the artistic, timeless French hooking up with the mechanic at Stuttgart, Porsche factory, German. And it's actually a yin-yang complementary relationship. And then they have a child, a Furman, a French German. And now, unfortunately, this kid has no clue which to be. Think about it. There's no manual for that. And this is what's happened that Nietzsche started to see, and he started to write about here. It's the biggest kryptonite for every Superman. Is that you're not just pure Japanese in a Japanese culture doing Japanese things, where there's really very little things to be read. Now you could have been raised by a family in Green Bay, Wisconsin, but they move you at 5 years old to Dallas, Texas, and now you've got to sit in the bleachers at Texas Stadium with your cheese head on. Right? There's an inner conflict which we then take to the outside. Right? Do you see how that works? So this is the tension of your character going the distance. So when you start thinking of it as an obstacle and there's conflict, write that down. Your character needs to know how to overcome it. Don't be afraid of it anymore. You're now writing the character, making it across this tightrope. It's just part of the package. But here's the best part. Nietzsche says, I was going to say this for the end, but it's so good. So he says this, I'm just quoting from his discourse on Superman. He says, which mixes the races together or the cultures, the child, the Furman, and who therefore contains inside him the inheritance of a diversified descent. And he says that not only these diverse and contrary drives and values, they struggle inside that person and rarely leave him in peace. Such a man, Nietzsche writes, of late cultures and broken lights, will on average be a rather weak man. His fundamental desire is that the world which he is should come to an end. So happiness appears to him in accord with the center. But you might be successful as an engineer, but you still get home right in front of the TV to let something else drown the distance, your identity versus your essence. Right? And all the while, it came from you're not fulfilling a part of you that's musical because you're in this building skyscrapers. So the only way to reconcile this, to overcome this, as part of your movie, is figuring out what you can do to feed that with what it needs, aka a garage band, a Mac with garage band, something other than television, alcohol, all the other things we do to sedate the voices we don't have answers to. All right, then the big finish from Nietzsche, he says, this is the one where you're supposed to applaud, you go out of here all happy, so I'm going to get you early. Go out here, it's happy. He said, but if, Nietzsche turns it into a math problem. If, however, he says, let's talk about your Furman son. If, however, the contrariety and war in such a nature should act as one more stimulus and enticement to life. Right? What if you just get so pissed off you didn't get to choose your parents? Right? Where they came from, what their beliefs were, or that they like to bring Bay Packers. And that's your motivation to do something to build your own movie, your own script for your life, not just take their scripts. And then he says, and if in addition to those powerful and irreconcilable drives, French German are non-complementary on the inside, on the outside, perfect. He says, what if in addition you had two things, self-control and self-outwitting. So you didn't get to choose your parents, you didn't get to choose the situation you were born to. And it's these inner drives that cause the conflict, or maybe you get 3 weeks going great, and then you just go stupid. And you know you go stupid, but you'll recognize that you've been stupid after you've been stupid and you lost something. So what if you find out that it's because of these things
if you add just two things, self-control and self-outwitting. Well, we gave you a goal sheet in the morning for self-control, right? You write your goals. You do what you wrote. You're controlling yourself. You're not doing how you feel, not doing what you think. You're doing what you wrote. This is you. Self-outwitting is where you trick yourself into doing what you wrote. How do you do that? Well, that's why I said I tricked myself into when I don't want to do something. That's exactly what I have to do. I didn't want to hug him. No, you understand? The point is, we have to be in charge now to write this. But Nietzsche continues. He says, if in addition to these powerful irreconcilable drives, there has also been cultivated, right, your exercise, a mastery in conducting a war against oneself. So instead of allow the war to continue to rage inside you on its own, you conduct a war against all these selves. And you can put them all together. Let's say you have 12 little pieces in there. Then you will emerge, he says, then there arise those marvelously enigmatic men predestined for victory and mastery of others. So here's what happens. You find out at first all these late cultures and broken lights, and you're so divided and fractional that you're not, nothing you do works. You got a little bit of good at this, a little bit of this. Then you go through a program of self-discipline, self-control, self-outwitting. You put all 12 together and you master this new thing. Now, there are 12 people in that. And anybody that's ever been great and filled more than half a page in Wikipedia, exactly what they did. America, we leave them, if you will, and we give them consolation for the fact they didn't get to choose their parents, and they stay fractional. Unfortunately, fortunately, I guess, for the, in Europe, they have a history of this story. So they can catch it in a Harry Potter book. And so what they do is they put those things together, and then Hermione and Ron and everybody become great. And they become much more than what they were born. So this is the path, this is the package, and we know it's every single movie. The key to each of these films is the character must change. And part of the change is really just completing all of the fractions that we were born with. And when you come out as a new man. In fact, if you read literature or even Hebrew, in the Hebrew Bible, it actually talks about Moses becoming another man to Pharaoh. See, so we have this whole idea of becoming another man, some kind of deal. Notice the quote from Raja Azul, the villain, who was the mentor. So villains can still be your mentors. To Bruce Wayne in the first Batman of this latest trilogy. Right? He says you have to be more than a man. You can't just be Bruce Wayne. And so we have to start cultivating these other parts of ourselves. Ultimately for mastery integration, but you'll know when to use what which. You'll also know if you're fulfilling your garage band self. I think of this when I think of an actual world figure. Creative types usually are the ones who get most easily derailed. I comes up with all the ideas and rarely gets anything done. Why? Because they're too busy telling everyone all the great ideas, right? But say Paul Allen from Microsoft is paired with someone who just gets things done, never had a creative idea. From Microsoft, get everything done together, and then when they retire, you can tell they're back in their essence. So through this accomplishing something other than themselves, through this mission, they accomplished Microsoft. When they got back to themselves, free to essence, you saw Bill Gates' heart was in not just education, but ending malaria in Africa. And you get back to Paul Allen, you want to talk about a whole mess of things all under one roof. Paul Allen plays every Friday night his garage band. He built the world's largest sailboat. He bought the Seahawks, turned them into a championship team, and he owns the Mariners, and he's redeveloping around Lake Union in Seattle downtown. He's got all these other pieces that he had to keep in control, self-control, self-outwitting, until the day that he could then release them. And so we tend to think that, oh, the success was Microsoft. No, that was just to endure to have a place to promote himself. The platform, foundation. Okay, so with that, we're talking character change, we're talking human beings, but we have a definition for money in Hero School. And for those who haven't been to Hero School, I'm just going to ask you what your just going to ask you what your first impulse is. When I say, what is money, what's the first thing that you hear or think? Yes?
More
Money problems. Well, that's probably not going to get you more money unless you go problems. Okay, good. Okay, good. No, I got it. Education. Okay, by class. Yeah.
Power.
Energy. Business. Okay, yeah. Possession, sure. Respect. Oh, that's true, isn't it? Respect me? Yes, and yeah. Security. Oh, well connected, yeah. Okay. And okay, so keep in mind these are all true. And since I love taking too much time, wealth. Yeah, well, what would wealth be? So when I ask you what wealth is, you go right back to money. We're not getting anywhere. We're going around in circles. Okay, hold on. All right, so I gotta tell on some people. So I told you I did Hero School for about 17,000 men to get them through and out of Catholic churches. 8 years. 8 years. So I had the first time I did a money class. I taught it as an entire evening class. And so I asked what money was. Now, the classroom was set up with a center aisle and then chairs in rows. About 50 men, mostly men, until the women from the shade tree start coming over. And so I said, well, what's money, right? And Andrew was helping me in that class, so he remembers this. But what was so weird is I did 299 of this one type of class. And every single class, while it had different people and faces, had exactly the same responses, in exactly the same chairs. I mean, really, that's just weird. So here's what happened. So I'm in the room, and I said, what is money? And invariably we get through currency, exchange, all these things. And on this one, always second row from me on my right, guy in the center chair said, it's the root of all evil. Okay? Now, within seconds after that, 3 rows back, center over here, person over here said, no. The love of money is the root of all evil. How many of you guys have heard either one of those? Anybody? Yeah. Okay. So, I think I told you the first batch of homeless I dealt with all started off Christian. And so I had to read the book to start to communicate with them. And I found out they didn't read the book. It turns out that most of the education most Americans have came horizontally. It never came from an expert. It might even come secondhand. I went back to college. I'm a math physics major, world authority on homelessness and education, and I don't even have a class on education on my belt. So I went back to school to reflect with education, psychology, sociology. I'm in a psychology class, and they're teaching me Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I'm thinking, oh my God. In 1947, 43, 55, if you read Maslow's own book, The Higher Reaches of Human Nature, page 212, is a hierarchy of needs and motivations. And we've dropped the motivations, so you know what it is? That's a hierarchy of animal behavior. Start with the food to bait them. When they're satisfied with that, they'll feel secure to come in your house. Maslow says, no, you don't start at the bottom and satisfy that need, and then they'll... Okay, how many girlfriends have ever invited a boyfriend into their house and fed him, and they didn't move? There's no freaking motivation in this pyramid. I think Chris Rock did a little funny thing. Anyway, but if you read Maslow, not just got it from Dr. So-and-so in psychology, who apparently never read Maslow, but just took it horizontally from his department, you find out it's a hierarchy of needs and motivations, and the top is self-actualization. And you start at the top.
That's right.
If I was a bonehead entrepreneur with an 8th grade education, I know to start at the top, because I start a business based on what I want. I don't start by just looking for some food. Really? And it took, anyway, so I don't know. I realize now where everyone gets it. Well, the kids won't learn if they're hungry. I'm sorry. We won't go to work unless we're hungry.
Right.
I can mess. Excuse me. So, okay. So, right, but we know this about ourselves, hence the self-outwitting. We're complex, we're not animals. But unfortunately, if they treat us that way, you know we can become dogs, better pigs, sheep. Yeah, it's the movie. All right, so, money's the root of all evil. No, the love of money. I looked it up. I'm going to put myself a little stuff Bible, the really pretty King James. Got the 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. The Apostle Paul said to Timothy. So he says, my son Timothy, right? So that's how he starts the chapter. You know, the Apostle Paul was his mentor. He's trying to turn him into another Apostle Paul. You know, Timothy was a whiner. Yeah, you can see it. Verse 7 says, you've been doing a lot of crying. I know you have faith because your grandma had faith. He said, but I don't want to do that. You read the book, it's hilarious. Right. But he gets there talking to Timothy. You have Morpheus to Neo, right? Uncle Ben to Peter Parker. He says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. And so I read it out loud in the class, and of course the guy on this road says, yes, amen. You know, I wanted to say, and pride is the sin of witchcraft. But I didn't. I said, we're not finished. Because if you read the whole 1 Timothy chapter 6, it says this. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they, that group, has erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. I mean, I got these things. So money's not the root of all evil. Neither is loving money. Loving someone else's money is the root of all evil. Can anyone see why when I walked in that park, even though I wasn't a Bible scholar, the first habit of all the Christian homeless people was begging was a big problem? Provides a problem with me getting a job because I can't trust you. It's a problem with God, obviously, because he thinks that you wanting my money is a problem.
Right.
And isn't it what we get upset at is when someone only wants us for our money? You see? So that's why when we shift it, we have to add value first. But here's the best way I know to really access your human with a different definition of money. And it's not a definition I like, but here it is. My definition is this: money is your life. You know it's true. You might not like it, but it's true. The goal is, right, you're going to work, you're going to exchange a week or a month of your life, and in return they're going to give you money. So if you think of it, this money is your life handed back. If it was last week in exchange for money, this represents last week. So now when we ask people, what are you doing with your life? We just got to check your credit card statements, your bank statements, right? Okay? But now think about this. If now you're empowered and you're going to write your own movie today, and you get just a little money, you have written down today what you're going to do with your life, haven't you? So as soon as you can convert it into this, right, because this will buy you better food than you can grow, better clothes than you can sew, right? And it is choices, right? If you had $445, you can stay in Palazzo. $44.99, you're at Hotel Six. They'll leave that on for you. $4.95, you're probably shoulders. Anyway, but the point is, right? The point is, where do you want to be? If you put down Bellagio, you better go get that money. See, now you see the pyramid. Now you know what you want. Gets you up that pyramid fast. That all makes sense. Yeah, it's like William James said. William James was the pragmatist. He was initially a medical doctor, then the psychology department head, then became the philosophy department head at Harvard in the early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s. And he said this, very simple. Truth is what works. Right? And if something doesn't jive with everything you know that I say, well, it's not true. I'm the first one to admit it. But when you start to see these things, you say, gosh, you're right. That adds up. That adds up, right? You go to your brother-in-law to repair your transmission, and he comes back with 3 additional washers, 4 springs, and 8 leftover screws, and says we're done. Then probably he's not probably the best at repairing transmissions, right? But when we start seeing things add up, you can just anchor your soul, take that to the bank, and start moving forward. So money is your life does that first. It allows you to direct what you want. Someone said it's education. You want to get some money to start buying classes, because if you buy the classes and you do them, you're transformed into someone who can earn more, be more, have more. Right? So you're actually directing your life, but something weird happens with me and money. In one of those classes at Catholic Charities, how many of you guys get email, get some sort of spam email? Do you ever get those things? Who has an uncle in Nigeria who died?
Oh my gosh.
And left you some money?
$1 million.
$1 million? Mine was 20. But in the midst of getting all these emails, let me tell you a funny story what happened. So I'm getting these, you get these spam emails a few years ago, maybe 5, 6 years ago. You get these spam emails and you think, okay, I'm getting messages from Nairobi, Kenya. Well, I'll get occasional people that are legitimate. They say, oh, we've taken your messages off the internet. They've really helped us with our AIDS pandemic. I'm thinking, oh, I can just change the character. Character wants to go work instead of doing things to sedate the fact not work, which includes habit behavior. So sure enough, some of these things are legit. Well, I got this message one day from some place in India. My mouth won't pronounce the name. I'm not qualified to even produce it. Okay. So I can't even talk like anybody else from India. So it says, we really love your messages over here. We have a ministry that, get this, helps lepers. I had to look up because I really thought they were joking because with leprosy we thought ended, right? And they provide medicine for lepers, and then they have a school where they teach young children, and all the orphans in the community, right? So this orphan story, whatever. They didn't even ask for anything. So I just, for fun, just wrote them a check for like $200, right? Nothing, right? So I wrote $200 and mailed it off to India. It was so fun. Okay, and then forgot all about it. Then, about a month later, I grabbed my mail. So Wednesday night, I'm heading out to Catholic Charity to do my class, and because I'm a little early, people are filtering in, hanging out, I'm going through my mail in the class. And I get to this envelope that looks like it swam from India. It had all this postage on it, but it had moisture, water, right? It looked like it had, right? Sure. And so I open it, and initially I'm thinking India, right? I open it in this letter. Thank you so much for sponsoring our children and our lepers. And now I'm thinking, this is the greatest scam of all time. These folks are genius. They deserve the $200. They've gone all this way. They've gone to all this trouble to write me a thank you. And then there's a big envelope with photos. And they show, here's a picture of children from India. And then they show lepers, right, with some missing limbs and stuff, but they're smiling. And I'm thinking, this is great. Where do you go? You go to one of those iPhoto houses to download pictures of lepers without fingers and arms? So I'm thinking, this is just genius. I got my money's worth. Then I got to like the third or fourth photo. And it was a picture of about 20 kids on each side of this massive banner across the road in India with my name on it. Aww. Aww. Then I read the rest of the letter. And it said that somehow I'd educated the kids for 3 months, fed them, provided medicine for 60-some lepers. And I'm thinking, my God, my $200 went a long way. Right? Why would I ever give it to, right? Someone comes up to me, I need $200 to go do something, but it's, I'm not going to get my 90 days worth, right? And you get a better pitch, right? So I'm reading this, now I'm astounded, right? And that's changed my whole mindset. But I had an epiphany. If money is your life, hand it back to you in a greater form, really, than you laid it down, changed it. And part of my money was over there in India. That means I was in India. In fact, I was standing at Catholic Charities, but at the same time, I was in India. I had become omnipresent. And then I had a revelation. I started reading that book, and it said, man was created in the image and likeness of God, and I'm trying to find out the difference between humans and animals, and I find out we become what we learn. The more we do, the more we can do, and we have the ability to be omnipresent present over here. But only if we multiply our lives in this fashion. We physically can't be in 2 places at once, but my God, we can be all over the planet. And when you find out that someone like Richard Branson has 400 companies that started with a CD place that sold records, and now an airline and all that stuff, not just providing jobs for people, we're starting to see the capacity inside every single human being. You just have to reach for it. And self-control, self-outwitting allows you to put those pieces together and become. Everyone go, oh, man. Okay, all right. So money is your life. And the two things I just want to leave with you is, what are you doing with your life? Now, we have a form. I don't think we have that form for you today, but we have, maybe the Q&A on Monday. I'll bring some copies. We have what I call a minimum wage budget. So if right now your transition job, you get stable, you get on top of things, and that's where you want to be. You just get into work so you can get some of your money turned back into this stuff. Now, what are you doing with it? We have a formula for which to do this part from, which to spend on education, which to spend on hygiene products, how much money you have allotted for rent. If you can't get an apartment for that amount, then that means you've got to be a better relationship partner to be able to double it, to live in a better neighborhood, right? How much to spend on a gym. Because in business, we have a rule called the strength of weak ties, that your success will not come from someone you know. Family members and friends are usually suffering through the same crap we are. They don't have any more opportunities than we have. But an acquaintance, someone that the struggling single mom knows from work, has an avenue for your skills and abilities. And one of the best ways to do that is to sign up and pay the $20 a month at a gym that pulls from all those types of places. And when someone sees your work ethic and how hard and disciplined and on time you are every day at the gym, they're going to pull you aside, want to meet you, and that might just be a CEO somewhere that needs someone like you that's reliable. Great strategy for doing it. Anyway, so I'll probably bring that to the Q&A. But number one is really to show you, look, money's your life. You can convert it. You can do more, be more. And then, of course, the other thing is you can start to see how you can accomplish the impossible because you're able to start having more of your pieces of your life growing. When the guy came in here to offer bank accounts, which would be next to impossible for someone not from here to get without a relationship in a bank, that allows you now to have some sort of financial basis. Now you can start tying that to an ing account that now earns money on your money while you're somewhere else. See? And again, this is the rule on how the rich get richer and the poor get poor. They become more like God. I'll say it, amen. Amen. All right, are we good now? We're going to rattle down to the 7 steps to the job you want. Now, we're going to give you this handout, but, oh no, we can't do that first. First, we have to start on our screenplay exercise. Everyone get a notebook? Yeah. Everyone? No. Oh, sure, raise your hand if you did not get a notebook with a Hero School sticker on it. And our special agents will see to it you do. We're going to spend 5 minutes on this right now.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, works. Yeah, I had a grandma that had good ears. We'd ask her to do something, she wouldn't hear us. But boy, we talked about her back. She'd hear every word. And it's selective. Yeah. So you guys can see from the Hero School approach, you reach someone like me, right? So see, you have a couple companies. Volunteer my time. I'm the oldest volunteer in this nearly 20-year-old organization. But you see why I can never start with money. Because it's going to cause you to repeat history without a better map. You don't understand these things. I don't want to reinforce your downfall. But you can see that we want to, if you start to say the right things and start to align with the way we think, now I know exactly that. Right? You got a 4-year-old daughter, you're not going to give her the keys to your car. Right? Does someone qualify with a driver's license that's proved they know how to manage it, 20-some years old? Absolutely. Different, same kind of responsibility, not yet that character. Okay? So that's we're just so all right, you guys got it? Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We are going to pretend that this is a super valuable screenplay. So a screenplay, like screenplay, is the document of words that become the movie. So let's say the people over here write these books. They've written all these novels, great stories. People over here are the decision makers at the major movie houses, Sony and Warner Brothers and so forth, Fox, Searchlight, and you guys have decided, oh, you're going to make those movies. Problem is, reading that book took 14 hours, right? No one's sitting through that movie. So what we do here is we enlist screenwriters, who are the ones that interpret, translate the gist in the form of a movie. Different character conflict, change. Right? Not just telling a story. Right? There's sometimes telling a story gets you in trouble. You got to tell a story, but it keeps moving you forward to resolution. In a screenplay, they're going to adapt the book to turn it into a movie. Got it? So you guys already have all the information in the story. I'm going to teach you how to turn it into a screenplay based on what a real screenplay is. This very cheap dollar thingy will be your first screenplay for your next movie. But here's how the writers do it. Let's open to the first page. First page. Don't do anything here. Okay, now I'm just messing with it. All right, but here's where they start. Screenwriters know they start at the end. See, these people might be doing habit 4. You love your book so much, you try to tell the story. Well, here's how my character is and stuff like that. You screenwriters are going to say, would you just talk to the hand? I just want to know how it ends. Does Happy Gilmore get the gold jacket, get Grandma's house back, and a better girlfriend? Even though he killed his mentor. Right? Okay? Because that's where you start. How does the character change? That's how we start. Okay? So they always start at the end. Stephen Covey, author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he said, begin with the end in mind. Okay? So it makes everything you do add up to something, right? So here we go. So just take a look at the back page of your workbook right now. Flip it back here. This is your last page. This is where you write down who you want to be to have what you want. Now, you may draw a line through the center, because it's sometimes easier saying, I want this kind of house in this kind of neighborhood in this city. I want to be this kind, because there are all kinds of different parts of you. I've got on the back of the 7 steps to the job you want handout you'll get today are 7 different parts of your character that'll help you fill this in. But for right now, I'm just going to tell you how to work this out. But you talk about what you want, say house, okay? Now you want to talk maybe about your career, right? I am this, I am that. So right at the top on your back page, just put a I am ... Because when you talk from the back of a screenplay, you have to talk like you're already that character. So really all we're doing is building a composite sketch of your future self. Okay? So what you might be adding, I want to be this kind of dad to my son. Right? I want to be this kind of person in the community. Right? But you don't say I want to be. On the back page you say I am this kind of person. I have this, I live in this kind of house. Right? Don't just say I'm an engineer, just say I'm a well-respected member of this engineering firm. Right? Because all these things that are important, you want respect, don't you? You got to put those words in there and start to embellish. Okay, so right now take a few minutes, or take 2 minutes, and write some things about your future self you'd like to have. Now, this could be your 6 month from now self, it could be your 5 year from now self. Okay? But write some things down right now. If you have any questions, just raise your hand. I'll work with you to put some stuff down. Yeah. Or like my ex-wife used to say, if I want your opinion, I give it to you. I'm going to snoop. Only last 24 seconds. You want Mary Jane Watson? You want? Yeah, just
Right.
Write something down here. There was a request that I sing opera. I never got that in junior high. I was making fun of my cat though the other night because he cries with, oh gosh, he cries like he's an opera singer. Meow. That was like a cat. I have a little bag so you can step on his tail. That's what I want to see. Okay, everyone got some stuff down? Questions? Okay. Dun, 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 dun. All right, everybody out. Give me your final Jeopardy answer. Oh, okay. All right, so you see where we're going with this? We're filling these things in. Now, cool thing is, again, you're going to get a really cool handouts later. So we're going to go through the 7 steps to the job you want. You're going to get them all straight, okay, with strategy. On the back side, it's a guide to filling out this screenplay, where it talks about you talking about how you want to be or how your spiritual life should be, your professional life, your intellectual life, psychological life, your social life, your recreational life. These are all important parts, like his garage band self versus just his professional self. And so this will help you put those pieces together and fill them out in detail. Okay, we don't have time, obviously, at a single-day academy to share this, but you'll take this home with you, and I hope you'll do the homework, since it is your movie. Right? So you'll get this on the back side of the 7 steps later today. Something else you'll get today, too, because after the 7 steps, I hope you go to, say, this job fair. Okay? Because even if you know, and you're going to be honest with yourself, even if you know you're not yet ready for work, you need some rough edges or need to transition into something, still go and practice some of the things I'm teaching you today. I'm going to teach you these 7 steps, these strategies, and job fairs are a great way to practice them and get the feedback so the next time when it's really the job you want, you nail it. Okay? So you'll get a copy of this next job fair. And on the back page, I put Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People still offers the best human relationship strategies today. Carnegie gives us the following 2 lists to internalize. So I've got some strategies on winning friends, influencing people from the bestseller of Dale Carnegie. There it is. All right. Now, you've got the back page, you've got something on it. Flip now to the very first page. Very first page. The page you wrote on, even though you shouldn't have. Just kidding. Okay. The very first page of the screenplay, even if you've taken the first page of notes. All right, that page, this is where you are today. This is where we're going to take the next 2 minutes, and you're going to be honest with yourself on both your strengths, superpowers, and things you suck at that you've been avoiding. Maybe something unfinished business, but this is the character you're starting today. So you might start by giving yourself props that you're able to do this, you've got both arms and legs, you know, put some things down, right? Because some characters start out where, I mean, gosh, my friend Laquan here becomes this star athlete in Nevada, and then now he's paralyzed. And all the doctors, those doctors are saying, well, you're paralyzed, that's it. And he somehow was able to, master other molecules we can't see to reroute signals to be able to walk. And now he's posting videos of him jumping over things, and the doctor still can't get over that he walks. So, you know, so I don't want you to, don't make me break your neck to start setting you out on page 1 and feel a little, you know, I tell you like, oh, no! But be honest. So be honest with what you've got to work with. What's against you, slow you down, right? What's unfinished, okay? Because this is the character we're starting here. That was a great plan. So take 2 minutes now, and let's write down stuff about us right now today. Right now today. I'm sorry? About yourself, about who you are today, what you have to work with, what's good, what's bad, what's indifferent. Guys, heads up. Think from a movie perspective, right? Happy Gilmore, right? So let's start with Happy Gilmore, right? He's got a great slap shot, can't skate, right? You see what we're getting at, right? Got a great grandma, right? But she's losing her house. Do you understand? These are the kinds of things we put on the first page of a screenplay because that's how it starts the character change in a movie. Okay? So, no music this time, but enjoy your 2 minutes. Great. I think so. I'm thinking of that new Geico commercial where they say, and everyone knows, did you know that you never have a game show host do your wedding ceremony? Yeah. Great. Yes. Mike, Sabrina, do you think Mike is your lawfully wedded husband, or would you like a new car? And she takes the car, oh, and there she goes. I hope you're writing, not just talking. Oh, I'm sorry, is that how you shoot blank? Oh, honesty, I like this one. All right, 10 seconds. 9. Remember, these are your books, so you're going to fill them out later. I just want to get you started. And we shall go through the 7 steps to the job you want. All righty, now close your screenplay books so you're not distracted and you start listening to me because you have a significance need. It's very interesting. By the way, let's mention this. Lots of great psychological novels out there. One of them, which is great, Tony Robbins, Chloe Maddonas used this. The human needs psychology. Like we have 6 human needs. The top 3, interesting. Certainly, some people have a significance need, right? They need to know that they matter, that they value, their voice is heard. Clearly, on one end of the continuum is Donald Trump, right? But literally, sometimes when we don't feel respected, we tend to just disappear, right? So it's a real need. It's a human need. We also know that we have a need for certainty, right? Like stability. Like we need to know something's going to be there. And certainly when we've got these, like, homeless children don't know where they're going to be, certainly that's weighs heavy on their soul. But when I started to study this, I found out that it's not just we have certainty needs, we also have uncertainty needs. Now think about yourselves for a moment, and think about I don't want you to think about the last stupid thing you did. I want you to think from this idea of psychology that we want to start testing things again when everything starts to get stable.
When everything starts to get, I'm sorry.
Stable. See, so we have a certainty need, so we work really hard to get things to be certain. But then what happens is things start getting certain, you get the paycheck, and you start to go lose your mind. Yeah. Right? Right? It was like the Chris Rock little vignette he did on HBO special. He said, "You got a credit card and lost your mind. You bought diamond ice, diamond houses, a fur house." Yeah. So and so we have a solution. Maybe 1 credit. People say, "Maybe we'll give you credit." So, but this is, you know this about ourselves, right? We have an uncertainty need. I would rather see you go the distance. Not just when you start to feel like you need some uncertainty. I want that uncertainty to start playing the guitar riffs. I want you to go to school and learn something you suck at. Don't let the uncertainty derail in the same category. Stay certain on your movie and do your uncertainty in something fun. Do his hair. You stay, right? Okay. I'll give you markers. Markers. Okay. 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 Yeah, did you understand? Right? Do something that doesn't mess up your path and your movie. Got it? Not with me, you understand? Because it's going to hit all of us, okay? All of us, we're going to have a desire to go to the uncertainty. Don't do it in the same category that upends this path you're on. Okay? All right, so now that we've got these things closed, we're ready to go. We're going to rattle off these 7 steps to the job you want. Step 1 to the 7 steps to the job you want. What do you think step 1 is?
Attire.
Oh, did you hear her? Be specific with what you want. We write it down as decide what it is you want. And we want that to be specific. Number 1 is decide. The job you want is the job you decide. No movie screenplay ever begins until we have a visible goal written down. Visible goal. So number 1, step 1, decide what you want. Now, in the finer distinctions of specificity, when we want to be specific, that's saying I want to become a plumber at this plumbing company. Okay? And you'll have some reasons. Okay? Maybe you've already been a journeyman, whatever, but you can just work there. But you know you want to be there for a reason. So step 2 is the reason. Step 2 is you have to study that place. You see how those two work together? So step 1 is you decide where you want to work. Based on your skills, your abilities, that type of place. And you say, well, I want to be a plumber, and I want you now to go study all kinds of plumbing companies. And you find the one that fits your character, fits the type of business. Maybe you like commercial, so don't go apply to places that's residential. Unless they want to expand in commercial and you can help. So you're using steps 1 and 2 together. Here's where most of us miss it. This was like 99 out of 100 times this thing was effective. And I get these people that start to tell me, oh, your 7 steps don't work. And I said, well, tell me the story. And sure enough, the guy says, well, I applied here, I applied at, at Del Taco, I applied at Big O Tire Center, I applied at Home Depot, I said, whoa, what part of step 1 didn't you understand? Right? Right? A decision means you've chosen who you're going to work for. It's your screenplay, right? Right? So usually people mess up at number 1. Well, here's the second step. They mess up at step 2 because they go in to get a job without first studying something about the company. They say, well, I know all about plumbing. Well, you don't know about their culture. You don't know about who their customers are. You don't know who their competitors are. That's a huge piece to know when you're going in. So step 1, you're going to talk about what you want, both the position and the place. Now, I will say this. It might just be your bridge job. It might just be the job to get yourself stable. Pick like a McDonald's, pick a Home Depot, pick a place that has systems in place that wrangle in all this wildness, right? For lack of self-control, lack of self-outweighing for a while. Okay? So get there to where you can do that. Then go to the job you really want. I will also say this. Do that first job, that bridge job, for not less than 6 months. Reason why is because if you just went to an entry-level job at Charles Hearst, they still have to pay about $1,600 to train you. And they don't get that back until after 3 months of you working. Remember, the goal of a business is to make more money. Okay. You can get a job by sometimes using 5 times what you get paid for. Right? But let them earn that back. Here's the second thing that happens. Most people get a job quickly after following these 7 steps. Most people get a job after following these 7 steps very quickly, and then 2 weeks later, they're offered 2 more jobs, which is just like high school if you're a boy that gets a girlfriend. You couldn't get a girlfriend if you didn't have one. But as soon as some woman had sacrificed her reputation to hold your hand, now all of a sudden you had value, right? And this is what's going to happen to you. You're going to be offered 2, 3 jobs, and it's going to sound like much more money, and you're going to lose your damn mind. And you're going to think that money is more important than character and stability and everything else you've already reached. So this is where you're going to have to be bold, and you're going to have to use a West Texas phrase, you're going to dance with the one that brought you. So you're going to be faithful to that first job for 6 months minimum. Now, you're in a bargaining position there that you're going to be a great employee for 6 months. 2 weeks before the 6 months show up on your calendar, you type it into your phone so it comes up. 2 weeks before, you're going to go and say, you know what, I've had these offers from other places, but I'd really like to hear. Are you able to match or come close to these benefits and the things that they're offering you? And more than likely, they're going to want you to be there so badly, they're not going to have to pay to retrain you. Then now you're going to be able to move up. All right, so again, step 1, decide, and there's some reasons why to decide what kind. Step 2, study that place. Study that place so you're a fit for that business. Step 3. Step 3 has changed over the years. It's still complete the application in a certain way, but it's changed because now so many people only want an online application. And initially, it was we taught it as 2 things are the most important. It's got to be neat, and it's got to be honest. Now, let's go back 5 years before everything was online. And imagine I'm teaching a class, and I say it's got to be neat and honest. Write down neat and honest. Now, here's some in the background. Say, how honest? Okay. All right. So. Well, let me explain. It turns out that the #1 reason people get fired from their jobs is for dishonest. They call in sick when they're out with their girlfriend. Right? It's not for, and I experienced this. My friends owned the herbs, terrible herb stuff. And sure enough, they were telling a story how they fired this guy. He'd done this stuff. Well, before they said fire, they said, here's what he did. They know it's 20 pounds of torque, changing oil to put that plug back in. And he didn't follow the rule with the torque wrench. And so the oil pan leaked out, the engine burned up about 6 miles down the road for their customer. And now, guess who's responsible? You are, right? You're the entrepreneur. You're responsible for stuff that wasn't even your fault, right? See, that's what makes you a bigger character, right? Well, I said, well, so you fired him. No. I said, what? I said, yeah, we suspended him, sent him back to the training and stuff like that, so we do the thing. She didn't fire him, so what is he doing now? He says, oh, he's fired. I said, what? I said, no. He said, a week after he came back to work after his training, he called in sick, and then his friends saw him at the movie theater with his girlfriend. Lying. So you can destroy a customer's engine.
Right, not get fired.
And not get fired, maybe suspended. But literally, when we can't trust you, the most important thing is trust. When I talk to my other business friends, CEO friends, and I'm trying to create bridges for people in my seat, say, you get them in the right place. I'm not going to try to get you a job. But if you right now you want to work in this plumbing company, I happen to know that company, but I happen to also see your work ethic and how you keep your word and you do the exercises, by all means, I'm going to hook you up. And he says, but here's the #1 thing I'm concerned about. Will they be reliable? They might be qualified, they might be talented, but will they do what they say and show up when they say they do? And if you work on nothing else, just do that. Hell or high water, don't be like Forrest freaking Gump. Right? Run, Forrest, run. What did he do? So I ran. And look, and he wasn't trying to get out of running, right? He just no running. Right? And then you see the scene in high school, and he's still running. But he's been running, so what happens when you work out more? You get stronger. So now he jumps over massive fences, and now he's still running. Right? He's not looking for an excuse to get out of doing the first instructions he got. I didn't try to stop doing push-ups as soon as Coach Leader was no longer my high school football coach. So when you talk about reliable, it's just, I made it through the interview. Huh? You don't have to be reliable. No, you keep running because it makes you better and better and better and better. You keep running, of course, ends up on that football field, and the recruiters out there talking to the coach, and say, who's that? Watch it, they'll tell you. Yeah, but he's fast.
Right.
Yeah.
You can check it out.
Yeah, you got an IQ of 75. We're looking for fast and loud. It's on the application, neat and honest. So this is hero school, so we frame many things in movie models. Clear and present danger is a great one. Someone said, well, so how honest? Well, if you have a felony, we're free. And they ask, just put it there, but don't leave it for them to frame. Remember we talked about if Kim over here was the entrepreneur, she saw the world differently than me if I'm over here in this part of the world. You, if you're in food service, right, see the world differently. The biggest challenge we face is they're going to interpret your information through their eyes, not yours. So we need to get tricky, outwitting, to frame things, right, like we're filmmakers, so they see it the way we want them to see it. Okay? We're not lying or being dishonest, we're saying this is what it is. So for example, if they ask you, ever going to commit a felony? And you have. So you just mark yes, but just mark it with the check mark that just says, hell yes. And then I want you to frame it with these words. Boy, was I stupid then. Because only if you frame it as that was then, I was stupid. Stupid comes from the Greek word moros. We get moron from it. It means heedless. It means you knew to do better, you didn't. Took responsibility. And it was, and I wasn't in the same person I am today. You've been to hero school. You're not the same person you were yesterday. Are you not the same person you were in third grade? Right? Allow your character to be different when you leave this room. And stop judging yourself for who you were 10 years ago. Okay, 10 weeks ago. But the point I'm trying to say is, you frame it in the way that shows that that has no relevance here. Right? I go through my movie posters, and I get to my mentors and experts, and people want to be good at money. You better learn from people who are good at money. So I hold up billionaires like Donald Trump, and I get to Oprah, and then I get to Martha Stewart. So if you have a felony or two, here is your role model. Doubled her net worth while in prison. And talk about taking responsibility, right, how she is. She made herself go to jail early to get it over with because she was tired of how long it took for her to appeal. Government kept stretching it out. So I just don't do the time. Because I got bigger things going on here than you guys trying to do this to me. All right, got it right? Okay. So neat and honest, right? But remember, what if you're typing it? Here's your additional step 3 strategy. You go online before you send it. You print that sucker. Print it. Must print it. Why? Because you might not get a box that says, "What was I stupid then?" That you can write in there. So you got to print it. Now might be the most important part of step 3. You print it. And then you go back through the parts where you want to handwrite some things. And now you get all dressed up and you empty all the crap out of your purse that belongs to your children. And you go take a trip to that business. And you go take your actual human into that place of business, even if it's just the front reception. And you go hand that off. And you go let them meet you. And you say, "Hi, I filled this out online, but I wanted to have your copy. It's just been my dream to work here." And you start sharing that, and you learn their name. And you call that woman who has a significance need, call her by her name. She's going to like you. She's going to take your document. Now she's going to take it where you could never to her boss. And say, "You know what, I just got the nicest pen. Now, instead of an electronic pile of 100 resumes, the application's getting to his office, to which he's going to look at 3 of them. Yours is going to be the one that's on the top. Okay, but you're not done. You're also going to find your thank you card. If you're too cheap, you can borrow one of mine for this first time. And you're going to write a thank you card to that woman. So you better get a spelling right. You better know the address. You're going to get that mailed out within 24 hours. And you're going to thank her. You're not going to ask her for anything. You're just going to thank her for taking the time for you. You put your name down there. You put it over down there. Put that puppy in the name. Now you have turned a receptionist into a John the Baptist. You should be bearing witness of you. Step 3 is a good step. All right. Step 4, we have to deal with human contact. Human contact. Now you've got the interview. Remember we told you you've got the job if you got the interview? They just start making deductions when it doesn't line up with their culture or their ideas or the things that you say that scare them. So here's what we want. Primary contact, the way we used to teach it, reach out, have the right handshake, tight grip, one thumb. Just one. Right? Don't give me no Alabama. Hey! You know, just give gang signs, right? Right? She, right? Okay, so tight grip, one thumb. But I need you to really be, this is where your empathy comes in. Your tight grip, one thumb. And I need all of your non-verbals to show that you have respect for them, that you're grateful for this moment, this opportunity, and that you're interested in being a part of their culture. And I say non-verbals because according to the research from Dr. Moravian from UCLA, Albert Moravian studied 20 years human behavior and found that only 7% is with words. Only 7%. Here's the problem. Suppose you have that felony degree, you fill out, we teach how to do a great resume and application. And you are so sweating then reading about your past. Now remember, this is only 7%. 93% of you is sweating. And you say, I didn't get the job because of my felony. No, you get the job because your role you were playing was you're a felon. Right? Tell your nonverbals to shut up. So here it is. He called it the 7-38-55 rule for those who are taking notes. 7% of our human communication, words, written or spoken. 38% tone and attitude. And as you know, this is where we're shifting into not just how it sounds, but how you look. How many of you guys know when you're on the phone and you smile, people can hear it through the phone? Yeah. Tone and attitude, huge. How many of you guys know that if you come to learn from somebody you want something from, then all of your facial expressions will determine whether or not you get that from them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Some people think, well, I'm just attending a class. Yeah, but if that person's the head of the bar association and you got some legal stuff to clean up, you could never afford this person, but you could convince that person, you could draw that person right to you by showing interest in your face and nonverbals. So we have all this power. So 55% is nonverbal. I would just, because I watch so many movies, I find that they tend to focus on nonverbal right there on the face and mostly right there. Stretching it, right? They're great actors. I just always wonder, why are the best actors so ugly? And we tend to start thinking they're attractive because we just get used to it, right? I mean, you watch Zoolander, right? You see that all these male models, don't have any ability to communicate because they have one look. And then we have Dustin Hoffman, right? We've got the guy that played Gandhi, right? Right? And it turns out it's because of the mastery of their facial muscles. That's why even when people, just Tom Cruise had one mastery early on as a young, his grin, right? He had that grin and those eyes. So that one look was great. And then nothing in the middle until he decided to be a better actor and learn how to have actual expressions or actual feeling other than the two extremes, the grin and then anger. I think I watched one of Tom Cruise movies like, all anger. I guess that's the best you got. It's like one of those Mission Impossible #3s or something. So anyway, so this is where you've got to go and start using these nonverbals. And if you know now that the stuff written, including your past, is 7%, show your interest, your enthusiasm, your desire to work there, and your ability to get stuff done and help them prosper. Let that show on your nonverbal secret. Okay, so back to our human interactions. Tight grip, one thumb, face, and now your name. And when you give your name, right, give it to where it's clear and understandable. And if you have a complicated name, spell it or give them a picture. Yeah, I'm serious. I mean, some people, Tiger Todd, you say, Todd Edmonds. Okay, Tiger Todd. Richard Butler. Okay, you almost there's some hesitation there. I'm not sure. Butler. You did pretty good with your own name. Good. Okay. Alvinez. Okay. So now here I'm going to have him slow down his last name where I didn't. Because remember, you have to introduce yourself twice to somebody who hasn't got time. You're not going to. You're done. You're done. I remember because I have. Let me see. I have an animal first name, and I have a last name that's a first name. So I got some problems. I'm on the phone with somebody that doesn't know. So let's say I call Steve Wynn and get a new receptionist, and I say, "Hi, Tyler Todd." And they say, "Oh, Tyler Todd." You know how I feel? I have to go, "Wow." Okay, so my name might be Tiger, but I'm also Chinese astrology dragon. So don't. So here's what I do. I just do it now as a habit. I say, "Hi, it's Tiger Todd." Tiger like the animal, T-O-D-D.
Right.
I was tempted to say Tiger like the golfer, but then it's sarcastic. Anyway, so don't hate the player, hate the game. So anyway, here we go. So I say, "Hi, Tiger like the animal, T-O-D-D." So if you've got a tough name, or you can help just give them a picture to make sure they never forget, do it. Okay. So, hi, it's Tiger Todd here. If they get that wrong, right? And they get that wrong, anyways, you know how we are when we don't get our name right. Right? And you've got this, it's like this sound barrier to get back into the workflow. It's a barrier. It's not just easy. It's easy if you've got a job to get another job. To get back in, is like breaking through the sound barrier. You know, your ship's about to shake apart. You don't know if you got enough fuel, right? You don't know what's on the other side. But you've got to do everything you can to push through. They get to be smooth, quiet, and really fast at the other side of that barrier, but don't keep retreating. Do everything you can to get back. Okay, so back to my list. Oh, step 5, the interview. I want you to do this as a guiding rule. Ask at least as many questions as you give answers. Ask at least as many questions as you give answers. Now, it's tricky in an interview because when you're asked a question, you tend to answer. Not necessarily. The question could be a way to ask a better question to get more detail. So for example, they say, "So why do you think you're qualified for this job?" You might be tempted to tell them, "I can read that." So why don't you do some jiu-jitsu here and say, "Oh, well, sir or ma'am, you have so much more experience here and know the position better than I do. Could you explain to me some of the challenges you've had? What kind of person you're really looking for?" Oh, do you see that? Oh, man! Shaw! Right? Number one, you've already removed my fear of you're going to be insubordinate. If I asked him a question and he just gives me an answer like he's all that, I'm thinking he's going to try to take my job. I'm not trouble. But in this case, he's already showed himself subordinate, respectful, right? You kissed my ass and I like it. And then lastly, he's asked a question that's going to get me releasing more information than any other candidate. Glad you asked, because this is what we've experienced in the past when we lunch. Now is the time to add your information, skills, strategies, abilities, and latch on to that next answer he gives you. And you can formulate an answer that's just beautiful. Question was, why do you think you're qualified for this job? Question back is, well, you, sir or ma'am, have so much more experience here. Can you explain to me some of the challenges you've had in that position? Get them talking and divulging secrets. And then you show them how you can solve their problem. Well, I'm not really good at that, but I'm real great at this, and I'm sure with a little time we can help make this work. Okay? Right now, there's much time. So you just want me to ask questions, right? Right. Well, it's not like grade school, right? So why did you qualify for this job? Well, why do you want to know? You know, we're not, it's not just a question. It's a question to do a few things at once. Okay? Number 6. I got this from Bill Gates. I read his book, Business at the Speed of Thought. I mean, he's like a prophet in understanding how the world would change, because every business would be like a human, if you will, with a central nervous system that was made up of visual networks. This in 1999, right? This is before we even had AOL saying, "You've got mail." Okay? He was saying that every business would have a central nervous system for data, to where if you stayed at the same hotel twice, they would know you like the Wall Street Journal, you like this size of bed, this kind of breakfast. It would all come up instantly as soon as you're checking in. And so you get there and get this magnificent guest experience without having to say a word.
We did a oil movie shop doing that.
Same, okay, good.
We had the whole history. Every time you come, we swear the car.
Yeah, so this was the basis of his book, Business at the Speed of Thought. And he says these words. He says success comes from learning how to turn bad news into good news. Success comes from learning how to turn bad news into good news. So, let's suppose step 6 is how to deal with rejection. Right? Let's suppose they say no thank you. I'm going to give you a strategy for how to deal with it. So, who got rejected? Right here. Okay. All right, so here's what I want you to do. Forget it. All right, so here's what I want you to do. You know you're not, you know you flunked, you know they didn't think you were good enough, whatever the reason. You know, right? They didn't just say, when can you start? They said, thanks for coming in. Handshake, okay? Now, this is not tight grip one pump. If they go and reach out like this is tight grip, don't let go. Perfect, excellent, good, good. So this is why this is important. In our hero formula, you guys remember this? You still see this? Oh, here, let's just put it right here. In our hero formula, right, our goal was to change. Our goal was to become the character that fits the company we want to work for, right? That's it. We're just changing to match that movie, professional-like movie. So the change meant we had to act like a student, do some sort of expert, Morpheus Miyagi. We had to do their exercises, what they told us to do, and we had to do them over time. If you push ups today, tomorrow you're sore. You push ups today and tomorrow through the soreness, and eventually you start recruiting more muscle fibers, and eventually you become talking about you're in a hospital accident. That's it. Okay, so notice, even in step 6, failure, bad news, not getting a job during an interview, you still have a free expert. So doesn't it make sense to make this a teachable moment? That you could still act like a student, get some information from this dude, and still make the thing work. And we usually just let it go. We blow the opportunity. We say, all right, thanks. Right, asshole. I heard you say we don't go plays in our head. To be honest in here. So, here's what I want you to do. I want you to tight grip, one pump, don't let go, and I want you to smile and pretend I'm Morpheus. You're right, I'm not good enough. I'm not fast enough. You just beat me in the dojo. Can you tell me in what ways I'm not good enough and what I should work on? Ask me some questions. Ask me 3 things. Be bold, right? It's one thing to go to the gym and have somebody walk by and laugh at your chicken legs. It's another thing to go to the gym to pay an expert or a trainer $70 an hour to tell you how lousy your chicken legs are and what you can do about it. This is just owning the same experience. And so you're going to own it, be in charge of this, and you're going to say, tell me how I suck. Tell me in what way. Give me 3 things. Make sure your face and nonverbals aren't. Yeah. Make sure they're still respectful, as if it's Miyagi on the street, you got a chance. Okay? He'll tell you what's something. No. He won't. What he'll do is he'll tell you what's wrong. You need to reverse engineer that and turn those into free exercises. See, the formula demands exercise. You're going to get some information. You're going to do the Bill Gates mumbo jumbo, turning bad news into good news. And if you've done that, now you're back in the formula. So I'm going to say something like, well, thank you for asking. Let's see. Well, number one, the last guy in this position is about your size, and he just didn't have the physical stamina. So you're not strong enough. And don't you dare talk back to, I'm strong. Right? I mean, you know, don't need to just say, okay. The opposite of having forward, talk it back. And say, okay, yes, what next? And say, well, it's our customer base. They're really not into that whole facial hair thing. And so, and say, okay, great, thank you. And, right, don't just say things. And then lastly, because of, you know, the data load on like every job today, we need someone who not only is computer literate, but who can type 45 words a minute. And I can see from your resume that you can type 4 or 5. So now give them one big thank you, run out, get your notebook out, and start to write down exercises that help you. What's an exercise for getting physically bigger and stronger? Yeah, do the push-ups every day, eat better food. Right? Right? So, health and fitness and nutrition, right? Fitness, nutrition. Push-ups every day, nutrition. Right? Eat what you must, not what you want. What's the one? What do you have facial hair? Is there an exercise that takes care of that? Yeah, go hell is it? You want to be there. We never shave. And then the last one, right? If you can't, the problem is can't type word fast. Right, take the typing thing online. Davis Deacon teaches typing. I think SpongeBob now teaches typing. At least Deacon business wasn't big enough for him. So, right? So what you do now, you're going to pay the price in the chair, and actually, this gentleman here is paying the price in the chair. When I stop by Larson Training Center, he's in there increasing his typing speed every day. Gentleman behind you just hit 70. How many words a minute? 76 words a minute now. Oh, can I get it up to 76? So you do this, right, for a month or, you know, however long it takes, the shaving, right, the push-ups every day. And even if you don't learn anything else, if you didn't do anything but 20 push-ups in the morning and the afternoon, you know you'd be different. In a month, you walk in there, you didn't learn anything else, you carry yourself different. That confidence alone, the nonverbal from your confidence in yourself. Skills are just key. So gosh, is it not worth doing? So this is step 6. Is type practice. Okay, great. So now step 7. Step 7, you need to move up. You need to move up. You cannot adopt the idea that I just want a stable or an easy or a job that I can have for a while. There's no such thing anymore. No such thing anymore. Now you have to constantly learn something new to be more, you know, really to help that company, that organization next year do more. You have to constantly be learning more. The number 1 habit, by the way, for number 7, so you don't panic. If they constantly have to pay me to tell you what to do, you know, you come to work and I say, all right, you know, do this, stack this, read this, take a break now, be done, break now, do this, and go home, see you tomorrow. They have to pay me to do that. You're not going to get that money. You're not going to get that company car. You're not going to get the freedom to decide. You can't manage yourself. Then they're never going to promote you to manage somebody else. So when I say move up to step 7, I say you really got to work on managing yourself. You can't keep waiting for someone else to tell you what to do. Now, armed with this knowledge, all you have to do now is anticipate what I'm going to ask after a couple of weeks. And now, the day I show up and get to tell him what to do, and he's already done it, my God, I get to move up, which creates a vacuum that allows you to move up. Which is an actual funny quote from Oscar Wilde. The man who marries his mistress creates a vacancy in that position. Oh, it's horrible, but the thing is, to move up to management is the same way. You have to eliminate this piece to move up. That's it. So you're freeing that person to do so. Right? Thank God I got rid of the bad husband. So do you see the point? 7 steps. They're logical. They make sense. If done in order. I don't see how you can miss it. You might not have the skills that have to sign up for Larson training. Right? You might need a community class. You might not be assertive. You might be emotional IQ. You might need to get some strategies for being able to speak better in public. You might be super bright, and then all of a sudden, I'm proud of people you can't. We're actually going to have a class like that in about 2 weeks for those students signing up for Larson training. I may come in, or another expert will come in and will actually teach that strategies for overcoming that public speaking fear, and for how to be confident, whether it's one person in an elevator, instead of rocking back and forth, the hands get sweaty. You've seen yourself, right? All right, let me give the backstory to that, and then we're going to wrap up. This morning we learned that one of the unique things about humans versus the animal kingdom is that humans become what they learn. So keep in mind, someone like me that had to author the whole channel of psychology on this, I can't argue with this because it's me. You can, and you might have different beliefs and different ways of thinking. But now look at how I view the world. And I'm hoping that I gave you some new strategies that help your worlds get bigger. Anyone's world seem to get bigger today after today? Yeah. Good. Okay. So here's what's going on for me. I believe humans become what they learn. I also believe animals can. Okay. Train an animal, human, change. Education, from the Latin educare, is to draw something out, not to just keep something in repetitious patterns. So I wondered why, when I read, I get these big, massive pieces of studies, right? Things on like 6 facts about belly fat. I always wondered why facts weren't true year after year. Why was it that they first taught us that you had to have a low-fat diet to reduce body fat, and yet every cow that produced steaks that had fat on it, vegetarian? Didn't add up, right? Well, it turns out that the fat we eat has nothing to do with the fat in our body. But that only animal fat triggers and burns the fat on the human body. Isn't that weird? So, cattle ranchers and farmers in the Midwest knew this all along. Okay? Actually, pork and bacon are the 2 best burners of fat in the body. Right? Just bless it first in case you're Hebrew 2,000 years ago. All right. So we know that now these things, the new facts are coming out. Truth is what works. Okay, so before you even just take something like this, you know what works for your body. Do what you know. Don't do what you don't. This one here says, oh, this is so sad. Vegetarians are less healthy and have lower quality collected meat eaters. It's sad, but as you know, some people thrive as vegetarians. Again, I'm just trying to get you through these kinds of things. Fact or fiction, the 5-second rule for dropping food. Do you think it's fact or fiction?
Facts.
Here's what they did. A study in England simultaneously with one here in the States. They found out that it's up to 30 seconds if it's on carpet, only 10 seconds on tile. No, that's what they measured. It turns out based on, I thought carpet's nasty, right? It turns out that it doesn't have the surface contact for bacteria stuff. Yeah. So if it falls on carpet, worse than on tile. If it's on dirt, just you're on your own. Okay. But anyway, so that's that. Let's see how video games can make you smarter, unless you play them for more than 2 hours. The myth of the 8 hours sleep. They found out that 2 4-hour cycles are better than 1 8 hours. Misbehaving teens may be at risk for major adult problems, so you think. Too much TV time may hurt your heart, but now they found out that the #1 cause of heart disease and heart attacks has nothing to do with your biology. Monday mornings. More than 50% of heart attacks occur on Monday mornings. Wow. Job dissatisfaction.
Yeah, that's right.
Your insides do matter. Here's one. Alcohol does make other people more attractive. All right, but I want to leave you with this one to tie it all up together, because now you're authors of your next movie. You're able to read through the fact and fiction, the myths and the truths. I'm going to leave you with this because this is when I learned. I had to apply my rule of humans become what they learn. When a woman I had helped, she'd grown up, you know, she had the mom with too many boyfriends, all the abuse in her house. She didn't graduate school, ran away at age 12. Now, you know, she's working for me, she's married, has a child 4 or 5 years later, child's first day of kindergarten. Oh, I'm begging to go to find out what she learned her first day of school, right? So follow this woman's journey. And so I go to pick her up. Mom's riding with me. Got her in the backseat. I had a Bronco then. We go to her elementary school. They get out early like you. And so we both asked this little 5-year-old girl. I said, so first day of school, what did you learn? We both asked the same time. And she said, teacher taught us, don't talk to strangers. How many of you guys heard that? Now, how many of you guys remember that Tiger's philosophy is that humans become what they learn? Remember that? Did you know that the #1 fear amongst Americans is public speaking? Yeah. I mean, #2 is like that. Then the IRS, confined spaces, heights, spiders, tunnels, crowds. My ex-wife's on this list. I came to a reckoning one day with wife #2. I went to a completely different school. Turned out just like wife #1 in 4 years. And the only thing they had in common was, wow, they know each other. That's when I realized how much influence we have on the people around us. And I realized, too, that everything I learned about women, I learned from dudes. So if you want to be good at something, learn from the expert in that category. You're the expert on women. Anyway, waste all your time. Okay, after that. So 81% in this data, 81% of Americans are afraid of public speaking, but I take that back because, well, that just means it's 1, 2, 3, you're not. But that's what the data, all surveys, this is Boston.com, you can find it in Dallas, it varied a little with the economic crisis, dipped down to 70, 68%, back up to 80. But here's the weird part. Babies are not afraid of doing anything in public. So if you've got someone by 5 years old who is afraid, or in this case, people looking for a job, and the person hiring them is a stranger, then we better go back to where the kids learned it. And we got to be careful. I know we were trying to protect the kid, don't talk to strangers. Well, come on, most child abuse happens to someone we know, relative, friend of the family, right? Stay away from Uncle Harry. Right. For the sake of our understanding, right? If we are afraid, 3 out of 4 Americans are. Understand, Beyonce is not rising to the top of the charts. The rest of us with singing voices are because we learned it. And it comes all over us, right? We get in an elevator with someone we don't know, and we start to rock back and forth, and the hands sweat, and we look away and read the sign, Otis, capacity 12, 2,500 pounds. It's real. So we must overcome it. It's like kryptonite. Because all of our success, the strength and weak ties, comes through a stranger. So here's your #1 antidote. It's on your list for 7 steps to the job you want. Can you pass out those forms now? 7 steps now? Great, thank you. It's on the list, but it's just this. When you start to notice that come over you, someone taught you don't talk to strangers, and you realize, oh, wait, I'm supposed to talk to this stranger teacher, not just my friend, then just reach out your hand and introduce yourself. Don't be afraid to talk to an expert, okay? And the more you practice it, the more it'll rewire past the fear, okay? And the more you'll get better at interfacing with the people that can promote you. Make sense to you? All right, did you learn anything? Give it up for a great day. All right. So Kim and Alicia, would you like to talk about clothes, suit center, anything else here? Let these people know what's behind door #2. This is the Heroes of Radio Network. Everybody give it up for Kim, Possible, and Alicia.
The survey form that you guys filled out. So anybody that's going for a job interview, then we have a clothing library for the supplies, suits, and clothes, ties. You know, and so I need you guys to make sure that the forms are clear enough for me to understand. Because when I call or leave you a message, I'm sorry, my voice is but I need to be able to read them in order to get in contact with you. You know, and so we set that up.
Okay, remember, guys, let's give a round of applause for our volunteers back there. Larson Running Schools, Larson Running, our man back there, go away. Laquan, Laquan, go ahead, stand up if you want to see your stuff. Please stand right here, Tiger Todd. The biggest round of applause. Applause yourself right now. Go ahead. One last thing, we're going to stand up real quick. Everybody stand up real quick, be quiet. Listen, now this is going to be exciting. Come on, everybody's going to participate here. Not like this, oh my gosh, I got to do this. See, this is good. Everybody say yes. Yeah. Say yes louder. Yeah. One more time. Yeah. How did that feel? Okay, now say no. No. Where'd that come from? It comes from down here. Yeah, that's a cuss word. Yeah. No. Say yes again. Yes. Yes. Say yes again. Yes. Yes again. Yes. Does that excite you? I know. Say no. Oh my God. So now you know the difference. So just pay attention when you're out there. Always say yes. Take that risk. Be that hero that you want to be. Thank you guys for coming here, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. And we love you guys. Thank you so much. God bless you guys.
So the teams in the back are standing by, but take a seat. Let's have a raffle. Let's win some stuff. All right. So here's the way it's going to go. We're going to do a raffle. We'll do it as quickly as we can, so you can get back to our heroes on the back tables who have different types of clothes and things and shoes and stuff. Also, everyone with a raffle ticket, even if you're not going to win anything, you're going to get a bus pass if you want that. Let's see what else we have. All right, so the way it is, we've got a couple items. I'm going to just highlight the items as if I'm playing Vanna White. Oh, Vanna. They're going to give it up for Vanna. Vinny White. So we have different types of backpacks here. So what we want you to do is, if you're the first winner, you just come up and pick from whatever we brought for you. This is a contraption. Kim knows how to open this. That's a nice business contraption. That's the pin, okay, like that. And let's see, we've got the phone and the minutes come together. I'll just throw it just like Kim. No. Vinny White will hold that. This goes back. Oh, lovely. Lovely. I love wheels. And then, Alicia, what you'll do is you'll go to get your raffle ticket, but what I'd like you to do is, as you head back on this table closest to the door, you'll see the sign-ups, if you haven't already, to sign up to get on the list to try to win a scholarship to go through Larson's computer school and other training for jobs. Also, sign up so we know you're coming to the Q&A on Monday from 11 to 1, so I'm prepared with more chocolate and protein bars. Let's see, there's some other sign, whatever else we're signing up for there, just make sure if you're interested, that you get right back there to get your name on there. And then we'll hang out here for a little while later while you're choosing right now clothes, but do know that on your forms, these are for your real professional clothes as you start to take some ground. Okay? Yes. And I need some raffle tickets so we can have a raffle drawing. Does everyone have their tickets out?
Yeah. Ticket.
Yeah. And they're all in here?
We're here.
Could you slide him for me? No. And the first raffle winner is 436-374. 374 who's got it? She's the winner. Give it up, everyone. What will she choose? What will she choose? She won that big super bag. I believe too. I mean, it comes with a 3-year warranty. Oh, I wish it was a new car, but it's close. Okay. All right. There you go. Congratulations. And the next raffle winner is. Look at that time. It's awesome. Is 436-386. Do we have a winner? Hey, we got a winner! Get your ticket. Now remember, you've got some choices here. We've got this Timex digital wristwatch. We've got phone with the minutes somewhere. He's got his hands. And we've got these backpacks on the ground. Well, then there you go. Pick your. There you go. These guys who want the phone were applying his choice. Lovely. Here we go. And the next winner is 436-373. Hey! Congratulations! Here you go. What will it be truly? You take. Oh, that one. There. Oh! 436-387. And we have a winner! That's perfect. There you go. Congratulations. Get up, everyone. Now the backpacks and a watch. 10. And this winner is 436-378. Straight back! Right on! These guys will be close to me. Oh, are you going to get the backpack that matches your shirt? Sorry. That's great. Okay, thank you. Right. Okay, there we go. There we go. Cheers. Check it out. Check it out. 436-354. 354. 354. 354. Going twice. 354. Yes! Oh! So welcome. Watch your backpack. Hey, we have here. 4, 3, 6, 3, 5, 8. 3, 5, 8. And we got a winner. Match right on. 4, 3, 6, 3, 5, 6. 5, 6. Going once, going twice. And next. Speed round. 3 more. 4, 3, 6, 3, 5, 1. Congratulations. Well done. Okay, next. Close. 4, 3, 6, 3, 9, 6. 3, 9, 6. 4, 3, 6, 3, 9, 6. Really? It's you. Oh, we got these 2 backpacks left. Yeah, you're definitely. 4, 3, 6, 4, 0, 0. 400. 4, 0, 0. You're gonna. I think you're gonna enjoy that one. Good news is you'll get. No, enjoy it. Come on down. You'll find someone in this room that needs it. You'll give it away. They'll love it. You'll get a harvest of many, many better backpacks. Alrighty, so now here we go. Just like a buffet, if you want some clues, and please sign up. Make 2 lines, if you will. 1 over to sign-ups, 1 over here with our intrepid fashionistas, and get your clothes, and then we'll hunt you down in a moment to get your bus passes. There's a sign-up sheet if you need help getting your ID, like a birth certificate or Nevada ID. Make sure you sign up for that list, and then we'll contact you when we make arrangements to get that done.
What? What? Is that everything? Unless you want to close. Or cookies. Good. Okay, see you guys Monday.
Alright, oh, it's over now?
What?
It's over now?
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. You told me to ask you about dental school. Dental assistants.
Okay, we have a class in medical, working in a medical office between 3 dentists.
I've done it for 16 years.
You get your birth certificates and your ID. You must come here on Monday at.
But we do have medical, working in a medical office. So as you know, medical claims processing, medical terminology, lays off.
Hey, Catholic Church, how are you?
That is the one is the Q&A.
Yes,
What happened?
Well, we got into the program, but Jimmy's never told us we can use his schooling as our job. He's been supposed to get back to me, and I understand he's got a million things going on, and I don't want to pressure him, but David and I are both still very interested.
Dark colors.
Jesse, you're not at Catholic Charities, right? So
No.
you don't know.
There's flyers on the back table here about a job.
You know, here's what I would do.
Job event? Okay, now that's recent.
Yes. Everywhere else, that they're in a program, they can go to school instead of a job. I would come to the school. I'll just send Jimmy an email. Say, hey, Jimmy, they're in. Do you have a problem? And he'll say yes. You'd rather be going to school and out looking for a job.
I mean, truthfully, that's what I would rather do.
Come in, start, I'll send you an email. And if he has
See,
a
my
problem,
work schedule is through the week, so the first day I miss my work to be here, I get written up automatically.
well, where do you work?
I work at the housekeeping at
Catholic Church.
Yeah. Just until I can get another position.
Oh. I see, that's good. I thought it was an outside.
That's why teaching gotta be either or. No, we are. I mean, I can take days off to grow pots and jobs. If I have an interview on Monday.
Well, then maybe on your way back, stop by the school, and you will say to Jimmy, stop by, and you stay in school.
Medical class.
Jimmy will probably let you.
Medical class.
Well, he's very lenient. Don't get me wrong.
Well, you should. So let's test it.
I'm kind of curious about the administrative assistant class.
Okay.
Do you know the date that starts?
Every Monday.
Every
We have
Monday?
open enrollments every Monday.
Okay, so I should
Continue. Get him.
does it start in September or
Every Monday.
So just every Monday?
Open enrollment every Monday.
Okay.
But you have to go down to T4 and fill out paperwork, but that's it. That's, you learn the skills that you need to learn. We mainly do cloud. So you learn to type, learn Microsoft Office. Can't get a job in Office if you can't type. You type.
Yeah.
What's your speed?
It used to be 40. I haven't checked it or time in a while.
Okay. You type.
It's now much worse because it's visual. Yeah.
So if you were at 40, you probably get better. Somebody was at 40. Did they get to the typing speed? Hi, really hard. We do a lot of things. Secondly, Microsoft Office, how are you at that?
I mean, I've seen some receptionists who have worse skills than I have.
So you can't get a job in an office if you can't type and if you don't know Microsoft Office. But the problem is you're not going to get a job just because you know how to type and Microsoft Office because everybody can type. Well, we teach that other people don't know that then to get you the job. That's what it is. Boys don't know, so they don't have. And that's what we do. Plus the right account project, UC's county project. So all of the business is funding.
They're all going to the cloud.
Yes.
Monday. All right. What time did you say?
8 o'clock. Anytime after 8.
All right, I'll figure it out.
Okay, good.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Okay. Now, did you? Ed,
I'm Mike.
did you fill out the form over there?
One specific for the school.
Yeah, it's like the school. I need. Are you, Tiger? What time is
Q&A?
Q&A?
11.
11. So you should go by at 11.
11 Monday, right?
Is it A?
Yeah.
You do. What's that?
Retraining.
Yeah, are you eligible?
I'm gonna find out. Yeah. I went through the orientation meeting with the council.
We are on the PTO. So are you going to the Yes. You go.
3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's your case worker?
I don't.
When are you going to be down there again?
Right over there. All the people were in.
So what do we get?
What's that? Okay. You leave if you want to. Did you get bus man?
What is your name?
You want one? Marshall. Can you stay in line for, get that? I can see you for Q&A Monday. Can you come? Oh, great.
Now that's in front, correct?
It's right there, you have our first trailer. Just make sure you signed up for that. Yes. I had a person to get the money. Well, you have to do this yourself. So, okay. Well, you just
No,
Well, you're qualified for training. We're in the system. But at least I want to be there too.
Still good. Good. Even better. Good. Oh, absolutely.
Did you didn't ask about Monday, if that's going to be at 8. Oh, we already did it. I got
So, sign up for one of the forms.